Yeah, so let me show you my little garden and what it's doing. So, I'm trying to just have it whatever strength I can get into this without doing too much. Like I do very little weeding. Certainly, certain tendings need to happen. But I want to point out some of the method. I think that's a nice method. The poke, it's a very important guardian of the garden. It really is. Without, like, poke makes everything easier. It kind of crowds things out. It's very manageable. You can uproot it. It gets these big roots that's bringing lots of minerals up. Lots of minerals, and it's shading the area. It's just lovely in general. It gives me good energy just to see them. And it doesn't take over everything. I think people who don't know what they're talking about, they consider it a weed and, oh, we gotta eradicate it. Those people are depleting the life from all things, in my estimation. This area has, it's an unusual setup. It's not quite a regular growth here. We have dianthus that comes up in the spring, and it quickly gets overcrowded. It doesn't really come to bloom. It doesn't come to maturity, but it's getting a little stronger, I think, every year. Lots of columbines, same thing, because it's full sun. It doesn't like to be in a full sun, but it survives, and then it gets crowded out. And then we have a bunch of foxglove here in the full sun. It doesn't really like full sun, but it does fine, and it comes in and out. And then we have these sunflowers, these perennial sunflowers looking nice, and the lobelias is looking good. I'm glad there's lobelias. Targeted plant. I grow lobelias all the time. When Karens discover my gardens, they destroy the lobelias because they're attacking my finance. They're attacking my soul. And they're evil. This is really what they do. That's what the sunflower looks like. See, that's the type of sunflower. And we got some bidens in here as well. It's quite. That's all bidens right here. It's a lot of it. It's good. There was like thousands of tomatoes growing in here, and they're not strong enough to have pushed through this year on their own. I just wanted to see how things were going. It's a kind of a transformed area, but it's good to give the diversity, and the pollinators like my gardens. They do. You can see there's hummingbirds flying around and chirping about. Karens don't like anything that's good. It's really, they love evil, and most people are Karens. They're aligned with Karens. They're aligned with sycophancy and like the invalidating of virtue and the exonerating of vice. That's what most people are. The vervain's also another targeted plant because I grow them all the time. When Karens see my gardens and they see the vervains, they are intentionally killing them. Because they're evil people. It's what it is. This garden was pretty interesting. When I first planted it, it was all stripped and new, and I planted it in like June, and it looked really good with lots of diversity. The year after, I planted a lot of stuff. Most of those seeds didn't germinate. So I think I haven't been able to order seeds online with much success from what I buy. That's the power of the Catholic Church. They're sitting there, in everybody's lives. That's the CIA. The funding for these perverts is, we have endless money for these inbred families to do their thing. My point in all this, expose the Catholic families. It's not imagination. They are really out there doing all this malfeasance all the time. It's the whole Catholic Church. They're all zealous, evil people. It's most people in America these days. That's really what it is. It's not some people. It's almost everybody in America. Common sense is not something that they appreciate. They love propaganda and lies. That's what they love. I like Lysimachia. It's nice. It's been blooming for like 2 months, and it's a targeted plant. The Karens here is lobelia. That's like the cardinal flower. It's very closely related, actually. I think we can hybridize them, and I never get to do hybridizations because they're always killing my cardinal flowers. They're always killing my Indian tobacco. And there's also the great blue lobelia they're always killing them. They see great blue belly, they'll kill it on site. Those are all native plants, yet they kill it on site. They're foul. They're the most foulest. Everything that I grow actually is on a fake invasive list that's being propagated on the internet. You can find it, like every single plant that I use. Like example, obedient plant. Why is that on like 1,000 videos as an invasive plant? It's a native plant and it gets its name by being very tendable. Yet it's on this list of invasives all over the place. People are just shoving it down your throat. Oh, that's an invasive. You gotta get rid of it. Literally everything I grow, even this, the mullins. I now have a very difficult time growing mullein. Mullein is hard because it's getting killed. Last year I had some, all died. And I'm pretty sure Karen's, it's on invasive list. It's a native plant. And there's, that's a terrible, evil, invasive plant. Wow. And they're out there doing their Karen nonsense. We're really coming down to the end of things. You know, this is the biological creatures that are following evil as truth is everybody now. And that's what the, the computer propaganda, they just want people to serve the money makers. That's it. The printers of money, and everything is lies. I left this area where I wanted to have the wild cucumber because I really appreciate the fragrance. I didn't want to disturb it, so we have a pretty good amount of it growing here, which is good because I don't see it as it used to be much more common plant. I see less of it, and I think what happens is people, because it grows in like clearings, and I think people are just killing everything in nature because they're evil. They're just evil people. The fragrance is to me such a signature summer scent. I had left the amaranth in here and I pulled it, and the reason I want to leave it was for several reasons. One, I wanted to see what kind of amaranths grew because it was hybridizations of amaranths, some kind of ornamental amaranths. And we don't have anything that came true to seed, but we had about like 4 or 5 varieties of stuff coming up. They kind of revert back to the natural common, and none of it I would call natural common amaranth because it's usually thicker leaves. Here we didn't really get any of that. I left these red ones, and I'm going to let them seed. You can say that's a kind of hybridized variety. There's just these two. That's what I left, and we had a few other varieties. Mostly, and I left some of this because I still want to keep the wild cucumbers intact, so I'm not going to touch those amaranths. You can't really see there's amaranths in there holding that up. I want to see how the other plants would do if I just leave the amaranth to grow, and I knew the wild cucumber would do fine, but the pumpkins and the watermelons and the cucumbers, they didn't quite do as well as the wild cucumber. I kind of knew that would be the case. So the pumpkins didn't really overtake. And I also had planted patty pan squash here last year. I got about 30 of them, and I left them. They grew into good size, all good size, and I left them to see if the seeds would be viable and replant themselves. But they were so overcrowded, I don't think that any of them came back. We'll find out if there's any patty. I didn't plant any new patty pans, but out of the 30 patty pans that were here, they were all full, big size. I'm surprised there aren't any growing. The soil's really not that fertile, so it really has to kind of molder into like fertile soil, where this is kind of like infertile soil. So the main purpose is to build the soil health, is what I was intending to do. Interesting enough, we have these blackberries over here, which I wanted to see like how strongly they would grow. Here at this edge, they grew very vigorously, plump and strong, but they've been completely picked off by probably Robin and his cadre of fellows, because they've been completely taken. Like all of those berries are gone. They're all gone, and I think that's very funny. But here's the only place that was really growing good blackberries. There's blackberries growing everywhere. These are the only ones that were growing really vigorously, and there was another little place that I was able to get to them, but they weren't as good as these, and they left those alone. I was the only one who grabbed any of those, and they were coming in abundantly on daily. They were coming in with great abundance. Even the sunflower completely was overcrowded. I want to see how well the sunflowers would do being overcrowded by the amaranth And not too much of a surprise, it completely got smothered. We only have like 3 survivors. This is one of them. But anyway, the point was for me to just let the amaranth grow, see how things were. I wanted to see what kind of amaranth came out. And I would pull them anyway, which I have. I have pulled most of them. And maybe something else will come up in the fall time, which I anticipate things will come up. So that's that.